This is Deanne Miller with podcast number 2, dealing with the Southern Baptist plan to end child abuse in churches in 2008. Reverend Dr. Marie Fortune of Faith Trust Institute, in a recent blog, addressed the Southern Baptist Convention's refusal to have a database to track known clergy perpetrators. She said that the individual congregations are often just not equipped to take appropriate action. And I fully agree. Yet I know this denomination, the denomination of my heritage, and am convinced that there is no chance this side of heaven that it is going to give up its sacred cow belief about the need to maintain the purest form of local church autonomy. That belief is based on the notion that this is the only model acceptable because it represents the way of doing church in the New Testament's earliest churches, which translates into the strong conviction that anyone who does church otherwise is simply not choosing Christ's way of doing church. Just don't ever plan on that getting thrown out in this increasingly rigid and conservative group whose membership is twice the size of the next largest non-Catholic denomination, that of United Methodist. Neither is there hope for the idea that people of Jesus' day with simple house churches might have been in the early stages of learning from their own mistakes about how to do church, and simply on the steep learning curve that continues to this day. That's way too progressive. Having spent all 62 years of my life as the daughter and wife of Baptist ministers, and having served as one of its career missionaries myself for almost a decade, I probably know the hearts and thinking of this group as much as any woman alive. I know how many very sincere people are undertaking complex tasks in the SBC, often making great sacrifices to do so. I've been there. Yet I can assure you that no challenge is more complex and more taxing than the work I've been doing since 1993 without financial support and very little moral support from anyone in the SBC, as I've attempted to support survivors and advocates who insist on change in all faith groups, especially in the SBC, where the layers of collusion are greater than most mainline groups for reasons I will mention further throughout this article. The laborers are indeed very few, and strong voices like Chapman's are seldom heard or sustained. Problem is that real change never happens by simply offering training conferences that give facts and figures, along with procedures on how to prevent abuse or how to make reports when it happens, though these are important indeed. Especially since training is optional in Baptist systems, unlike in many mainline groups where decisions are not ultimately made by anxious people with limited education and little or no experience in the massive job of conflict resolution that occurs in any case of abuse, especially if the case involves a minister or church leader. Real change requires heart change and confession. That's something Baptists seem to think they know well. And without the heart change and confession, people only intensify their resistance and fears in spite of training.